Welcome everyone to the Miami Sports Vibes YouTube channel, here to discuss the crazy NBA trade deadline, man. This trade deadline did not disappoint. It came to a point where you're starting to realize, like, damn, yo, the NBA has had a freaking hell of a week, and they are just taking over the whole week. And it's Super Bowl week, which is crazy. Listen, shout out to the NBA. We're going to talk about all the trades, and I'll let you know my reactions and who do I think are the winners and losers of this NBA trade deadline. Let's start off with the big news for my Miami Heat. Golden State Warriors acquiring Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat finally freaking make a deal happen. This was long overdue, man. I think it was essential to get rid of Jimmy Butler. Finally, the Heat find a package. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't say that I really like it, but I kind of like it. Man, you got Andrew Wiggins here, you got Kyle Anderson, you got PJ Tucker, and you got a 2025 top 10 protected first round pick. PJ Tucker then ended up being flipped for Davion Mitchell, which we'll talk about later. Detroit gets Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson in a second round pick, and then Utah with Dennis Schroeder, who they then ended up waiving, and a second round pick. So listen, what do I think for the Warriors? I think the Warriors, I wouldn't say that Steph Curry and Draymond Green absolutely love the addition of Jimmy Butler, but when you look at it, Golden State was trying to call every single star to try to make a push for a championship. They want Curry to have another crack at it, right? And Curry's unbelievable, and why the hell not? I think they struck out. I think they got their feelings hurt once Durant said that he did not want to go to Golden State anymore. So they quickly pivoted to the only star that was available, and that being Jimmy Butler, which is why they went ahead, pulled the trigger, signed the extension. And I think Steph Curry and Draymond Green are pretty much like, listen, we have a crack at it, right? And if there's anybody that was available, it was Jimmy Butler. And you could start talking yourself into it. Like, Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is a real deal. You cannot rely on only Steph Curry. He's going to have somebody that could put the ball in the hole. He can kind of play system ball. He can defend the heck out of the basketball as well. Him and Draymond Green, they can definitely make things happen from a playmaking standpoint and a defensive standpoint. So I think the Warriors are kind of looking at this like, at the end of the day, it is an upgrade. Probably not the upgrade you wanted initially, but it is an upgrade. And for the Miami Heat, getting a first round pick in there, I absolutely love. It is top 10 protected. I think Golden State will make the playoffs. So the Heat are looking to go into this upcoming draft with their own pick and the Golden State Warriors pick. And then you got Andrew Wiggins. All right. Andrew Wiggins is a former number one overall pick. This is a guy who is a couple years removed from the All-Star game. This is a guy who's been playing pretty good lately in Golden State, and only 29 years old. Okay. You talk about all that. Now you mix him into the Heat culture system with Coach Spo and the coaching staff. I think that Andrew Wiggins is one of those players where he's gonna kind of level up another level with the Miami Heat, with the way that they condition their players and put their players in positions to be successful. So if Andrew Wiggins is somebody that the Heat are going to keep long term, that remains to be seen. Maybe he's an asset that you can then flip for in a couple of years. But I absolutely like this addition for the Miami Heat. And Kyle Anderson, it remains to be seen whether they're trying to get rid of him. But then again, he is a Heat culture type of guy as well. But I really do like Wiggins and the first round pick. Listen, I'll take it, man. Initially, I kind of wanted to go Bradley Beal and the 3 first because I like the idea of having 3 first. But at the end of the day, at least the drama's over. And then the second this big trade that happened over the weekend, never got to share my thoughts, but obviously the Lakers getting Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris, Anthony Davis goes to Dallas with Max Christie and a 2029 Lakers first round pick. I mean, craziest trade. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard a bunch of thoughts. My thoughts on that, man, it's just like, I still can't believe it even to this day right now that the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic, and that is all you got. All right. I'm not here saying that the Mavs are dumb and their roster sucks. I think the roster with AD, I see the vision and I see what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to accomplish, trying to get a championship within the window of Kyrie Irving, since he's been playing unbelievable this year, and obviously kind of adding, a well-rounded team around him. But damn, man, if you just called probably any team, I think every team would have gave you whatever the hell you wanted for Luka Doncic. The only team that probably wouldn't give you anything is the San Antonio Spurs with Wembanyama. And I'm just shocked that when you see players like Mikal Bridges go for like 4 first-round picks, that you only got 1 for Luka Doncic. Now, AD is no scrub. All right, AD is no scrub. It's definitely going to, Dallas is still going to be nice, but damn, a player like Luka, you could have got so much more. But listen, Lakers are set now. They're set for their future. Everyone is hyping up, Luka and LeBron connection. But listen, I don't think the Lakers are thinking about it like that, man. Lakers got a 25-year-old top 4 player in the NBA, 3 years or 2 to 3 years away from his prime. All right, meaning when he gets this prime, it's up to him, but he could potentially be either the best player in the league or the second best player. They are not set for just right now. They are set for the future going forward. You got JJ Redick, who's a first-year head coach, and now you got a 25-year-old Luka Doncic. That pairing by itself is going to do wonders in LA, not only this year, but for years to come. So it remains to be seen if they win a championship with Luka and LeBron, but the Lakers absolutely hitting a home run. Now they kind of have their next 15 years set with Luka until he retires, unless he ends up leaving there. So shout out to the Lakers. Next one, man. Zach LaVine going to the Sacramento Kings. They get 3 first-round picks as well, 3 second-round picks. This is the deal that got De'Aaron Fox, one of my favorite players, as you all know, to the San Antonio Spurs. The Bulls get a couple of fillers in there to make this deal work. 3-team trade. De'Aaron Fox and Wembanyama. Listen, De'Aaron Fox is going to be a beast in San Antonio. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for this new chapter. I think he did everything that he could in Sacramento, man. But listen, it's tough playing over there in Sacramento, man. When you have an owner like Vivek Ranadive over there that's constantly going to have that team, not exceed the expectations, they're not going to level up with an owner like that. So shout out to Fox getting himself away from that situation. Now you got the, arguably, who's probably going to be the best player when it's all said and done, Wembanyama. There's talks about that. And you're coming into this situation early. Players are going to want to join San Antonio and play with Wembanyama. Fox gets there early. He's trying to get the extension there. Fox and Wemby together, and then they're going to continue to build on that. Man, look out for San Antonio for years to come. It might not all happen quick, right? I don't think this year they're going to make it to the playoffs and win a couple rounds, but this is a nice little investment. Fox goes back home to Texas, where he's from. I know he's a Houston guy, but his wife's from San Antonio. This is great for De'Aaron Fox. I'm really glad that he was able to team up with Wemby, and I'm excited to watch them ball. The next deal that I want to talk about, the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that is 41-10 right now, first place in the Eastern Conference. They said, you know what? We want to go for it. We want to challenge Boston. They get DeAndre Hunter from the Atlanta Hawks. They give up Karis LeVert. They give up 3 second-round picks, 2 pick swaps, and Georges Niang, who was a solid veteran for them. I know they're probably sad to see him go, but DeAndre Hunter, a guy that can shoot the 3, a guy that can score. He's a little bit slower, all right? This is a team that plays pretty fast and likes to move the ball. DeAndre Hunter kind of slows that down, but he's probably coming off the bench, and he is just going to be asked to kind of score, fill that LeVert role, but probably more of an efficient scorer, probably a scorer that I trust more than LeVert. DeAndre Hunter to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going for it. They believe that they can win with this team. So shout out to them. Listen, I love when a team is right at the top and they don't stay put. They say, yo, let me go add something, all right? Let me keep the core. We know the core, but let me go for this championship. And that is what the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing. It remains to be seen whether they could beat Boston and come out of the East, but at least they're showing the fans that they're trying to do so. Next trade, Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets to the Lakers. Lakers give up Dalton Knecht, man, who was a nice rookie. I saw big things happening for Dalton Knecht, especially under JJ Redick, a guy that's catch and shoot. They were really high on him coming out of the draft. So he gets dealt. But honestly, man, when you're trying to improve your team, you're going to have to make bad decisions. And I'm pretty sure they didn't want to get rid of Knecht, but they had to. He goes to the Hornets with Cam Reddish and a first-round pick unprotected and a 2030 pick swap. Mark Williams is a stud, man. Honestly, he has been killing it lately for the Charlotte Hornets. This guy's a walking double-double. His only problem is staying healthy. But if he stays healthy, this guy can do big things for the Los Angeles Lakers. LA, losing Anthony Davis, they needed rim protection. They needed rebounding. They needed a big. Luka Doncic and Mark Williams together, playing that pick and roll. You got LeBron in the dunker, spread it out with some shooters in there. Mark Williams is going to be catching lobs from Luka. This is a perfect trade. This is something that the Lakers needed. They cannot go the rest of the season without filling a need at the center position, and they absolutely do so. Getting somebody that's fairly young too. All right, this guy's going to be in that timeline with Luka Doncic. All right, they're both around the same age, so you got both of them for your future. I see the vision for Los Angeles, and I like that the moves that they're making, man. The next big trade, Caleb Martin goes to the Dallas Mavericks. The Sixers get Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks, like I talked about, they're trying to improve their roster, and I kind of like it. Caleb Martin is a former Heat guy. He has finals experience. He has playoff experience. He's hit big shots. All right, this is a guy that probably should have won the Eastern Conference MVP when the Heat made it to the finals, when they beat Boston. This is a guy, tough defense. He plays his role. He knows his role. He fits right in. He can shoot the three, and he does all of those little things that every single team needs on their roster. So, especially when you're trying to be serious. All right. So you got Kyrie Irving over there. You got Anthony Davis. You got Klay Thompson, which is a shooter. You got PJ Washington, Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall. Look at the Dallas Mavericks roster, boys. Like, and girls, boys and girls. This is a good, solid team that could make some noise. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Mavericks make it to the finals, but I think their window is very short. You're looking at a nice little 2 to 3 years. I mean, 3 is pushing it, but at least, that 1 to 2 year range this year and next year for Dallas to kind of make things happen. But Caleb Martin is a nice addition, and you kind of see that timeline. They're trying to get in that Kyrie and Anthony Davis window and trying to capitalize on that, adding defense, adding shooting, adding bigs, and, primarily defense, man. A lot of 3-and-D guys on this team. So I like what Dallas has done as well, even though I think they should have got more for Luka. Next trade, I want to talk about Milwaukee Bucks trading Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap for Kyle Kuzma. So Kyle Kuzma goes to the Milwaukee Bucks, going to be teaming up with Giannis and Dame. I don't know if I really like that fit, man. Kyle Kuzma is like a guy I honestly have forgot about. I mean, this guy has not played meaningful basketball since he was on the Lakers, and I just don't know. I don't view him as a high IQ type of player, so I don't really think this changes so much. I don't know if it's that much of an upgrade from Middleton, who kind of fit with them, although he was just having a down year. But yeah, Kyle Kuzma, man, I know he cuts to the rim, but I don't think this really changes much for the Milwaukee Bucks. The New Orleans Pelicans traded Daniel Theis and draft compensation to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Thunder adding another big, that is their biggest need, right? Rebounding and bigs, right? Hartenstein has had a hell of a year, especially with Chet Holmgren out. Hartenstein has not missed a beat. Holmgren's coming back now, so you have him as an added big, but he's still not the best rebounder. Now you're adding Daniel Theis. So having Hartenstein, having Theis do the dirty work, having Holmgren just to kind of stretch the floor, shoot the three, and kind of worry about getting his buckets. I like this move for the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a team that is 40-9 at number 1 in the Western Conference, best record in the NBA. They look like they could win a championship. I like that they're kind of staying with the core. They like their team, but they're finding out, okay, what could be their problem? Okay, probably rebounding and having enough bigs, right? Let's say Hartenstein gets in foul trouble. Daniel Theis is a guy who's played a lot of playoff games, and he understands. He's a veteran in this league. Like this pickup for the Thunder. Next, Brandon Ingram going to the Toronto Raptors. I mean, the Raptors are freaking weird. Like, aren't you guys rebuilding? Why do you want to have Brandon Ingram on your team? This is a guy who's barely stayed healthy throughout the last couple seasons. And it's just like, the dude's just boring, man. Like, Brandon Ingram ain't really cutting it anymore, man. And what are you going to do with Toronto? I mean, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram? That's a weird pairing, man. Like, it just really is. The Pelicans get Bruce Brown, a first-round pick, Kelly Olynyk. So the Pelicans win this one here, man. I mean, they're getting some first-round picks. This is a big one, by the way. The Grizzlies sending Jake LaRavia to the Sacramento Kings. This is a guy who can play defense. He can shoot. He's a high IQ level player. I like this pickup for the Kings. And shout out to the Kings, man. Yo, I mean, they get rid of Fox. You think they're waving the towel? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Getting LaRavia here getting Zach LaVine, and then also this next one right here, getting a guy like Jonas Valanciunas as well. It shows that the Kings are like, no, hey, yo, we're not punting, man. We are trying to make the playoffs, and we're trying to embrace this new type of the clock that we do have. It's similar to Dallas, but obviously Sac doesn't have the success that Dallas has. But they're trying to get into that type of realm. All right. So adding Jonas Valanciunas to coming off the bench to back up Sabonis, he has great chemistry. You see the picture there. They both played in Lithuania together. This is a walking double-double off the bench. This is something that the Kings have needed, rebounding and some touch off the bench. You kind of got a walking double-double there, just easily 10 and 10, even if you only play him 15 minutes a game. This dude just gets after it. Another one, the Hawks trading Terrence Mann, Bones Highland. The Clippers get Bogdan Bogdanovic and 3 second-round picks. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a sniper. He's having a terrible year, though. I mean, he's barely shooting the three well. His touch is like so off. I'm not sure what the hell is going on, but maybe he just needs a new setting. All right. But Bogey is one of those guys that can make clutch shots and can make big shots. All right. He can shoot from the mid range, he can shoot from the three, and he can shoot from the free throw line. All right. So this is a nice piece to have. But like I mentioned, having a bad year, can he turn things around for a Clippers team that honestly has been exceeding expectations? I mean, Norman Powell's beasting. James Harden's turned back the clock. Now Kawhi Leonard is back. The Clippers have been doing big things here. Derrick Jones also for them has been solid. Let's see what Bogey does. If he could provide some scoring off the bench, that will be very nice. Very nice for the Clippers. Next, the Celtics traded Jaden Springer and a second-round pick to the Houston Rockets. This is a nice little trade. Houston, who's I think they're third in the Western Conference, kind of game behind second place there. They've been exceeding expectations. They're a little bit early. They didn't really make a move. They decided to keep their core. They like their team, but they added Jaden Springer. This is a guy that fits the mold, all right? This is a young player, which is good for the Houston Rockets. Majority of those players are young, and this is a guy who defends, all right? Another player that can kind of play the same type of system that Ime Udoka is trying to run over there. Guys that are young, athletic, and defend. Jaden Springer is one of the best defenders that came out of the draft when the Celtics selected him. So I like that fit right there for him. Next, the Phoenix Suns getting off the Nurkic contract, but they had to attach a first-round pick, send it to the Charlotte Hornets. In return, they get Cody Martin, Vasa Micic, and a second-round pick. Listen, Cody Martin is a solid player, 3-and-D guy, similar to his brother. I kind of like what he can give the Phoenix Suns here, but this is not really about these players making a difference for the Suns. This is the Suns pretty much saying, hey, we made a mistake signing Nurkic. Here's a first-round pick. Please take this contract off our books. This is just an embarrassment trade if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. And I'm a Devin Booker fan, and I am very, very upset. Why sign Nurkic in the first place? That was so weird. I think where the team messed up was kind of signing Bradley Beal, getting rid of Chris Paul. Like, why not keep Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton or find another trade out there? But, bringing in Bradley Beal, who just doesn't fit, bringing in Nurkic, who's just, he's just like the game doesn't like Nurkic anymore. It's drifting away from players like that, man. Nurkic is slow. He's just shaking my head. Like when you have to give up picks so somebody can, take your mistake of a contract, is just pure embarrassing. Also, another trade, Davion Mitchell to the Miami Heat, by the way, like I said. So they flipped PJ Tucker from that Jimmy Butler trade for Davion Mitchell from the Toronto Raptors. So Davion Mitchell is now on the Heat. I absolutely love that pickup. This is a guy who I was high on coming out of college. I think he is, obviously hasn't tapped into his full potential yet. But like I mentioned earlier with Wiggins, you're putting him in a system with Spo and the coaching staff. I think they're going to get the best out of Davion Mitchell. I think he's going to have a better time than he's had in his previous stops in Toronto and Sacramento. But this is a guy who fits a timeline to Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, kind of resets the clock a little bit. You're trying to take 2 steps back. Davion Mitchell, you plug him in there. He fits right in. All right. You need a playmaker. You need a point guard. He's that. But most importantly, a guy that can defend from the guard position. And that is exactly what he brings. He works his ass off, and I think he's going to be awesome. Next trade. These are just a couple little boring ones here. But there are moves that happen. The Clippers trading Kevin Porter to the Milwaukee Bucks for Beacham. So, kind of an even swap there. I don't really like Kevin Porter Jr., but he has had a couple games where you're like, whoa. So I think that's a win-win there for both teams. Um, Marcus Smart traded to the Washington Wizards, and they also attached a first-round pick to get off of that contract. And in this deal, the Grizzlies get back Marvin Bagley. So Marvin Bagley is a player that was picked number 2, not too long ago, but picked number 2 overall in the draft and just hasn't panned out. He's had so many different stops. He's had a stop in Detroit, Washington, Sacramento. He hasn't lived up to the expectations like he was coming out of Duke. People were high on Marvin Bagley, but let's see if the Memphis Grizzlies can kind of turn him into something here and have him come off the bench and kind of make some noise. I think it's a win-win for both teams. Obviously, the Wizards, who are rebuilding, they get a first-round pick in there. And then the Grizzlies get a guy who I guess they wanted. I guess they wanted at the end of the day. And they get rid of the Marcus Smart salary there. Detroit acquired Dennis Schroeder from Utah. So Dennis Schroeder finds his home in Detroit, who's been exceeding expectations this year and actually look like they might end up making the playoffs, man, surprisingly. So here's the full trade, as I mentioned, with Marcus Smart. The Hawks getting Cody Zeller. Didn't even know he was still in the league. No, they traded Cody Zeller to the Houston Rockets, so they did make that move. I don't think he plays much. So I think that's kind of a win-win. The Bucks get Jericho Sims from the Knicks, and the Knicks get Cash and DeLon Wright. The Knicks have this rookie Hawk Porty coming off the bench. I think they favor him over Sims. So at least they got something for Sims. They seem to have their center rotation kind of figured out. And also Mitchell Robinson is on the way back. So it looks like the Knicks, at least you got something out of a player who wasn't really going to see the floor in the second half of the season in Jericho Sims. Lastly, the Sixers get Jared Butler and 4 second-round picks. They trade away Reggie Jackson and a first-round pick. So the Wizards acquiring more draft capital. They then waived Reggie Jackson, and the Indiana Pacers trading James Wiseman and Cash to the Toronto Raptors. So the Wizards made out, I believe, they're winners in today's trade deadline, acquiring some first-round picks there. Obviously, they're the team that's rebuilding. Adding that draft capital definitely helps out your squad. And also the Charlotte Hornets. When you look at the Charlotte Hornets, what they were able to do, not only today at the trade deadline, but around all the trades, trading Nick Richards earlier, they solidified themselves for the next couple of years with a lot of first-round picks. Now, the question is, will the Charlotte Hornets hit on those picks or won't they? But Charlotte is another team that I think are winners. Obviously, the Lakers are winners, adding Luka Doncic. I think Dallas is winners. I think they could have been even bigger winners, but still, you kind of understand they didn't go just for one trade with Anthony Davis. They went and got themselves Caleb Martin, and at least you see the vision. You see what they're trying to do. I think the Spurs getting De'Aaron Fox is going to be awesome. And like I said, that is a long-term investment. All right. You got Fox, Wemby, and more guys will be on the way to play in San Antonio very, very soon. So you kind of set the blueprint there, and it's just building good habits. You keep Stephon Castle. You have Chris Paul there to help out the young guys. I absolutely like it. Losers, I think the Phoenix Suns, are terrible, man. Terrible. A team with KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and you cannot figure it out. The fact that you have to add a first-round pick to get off of Nurkic, I think the Phoenix Suns are losers in this draft. In this trade deadline. Milwaukee Bucks, I really don't like that fit for Kyle Kuzma. They got Jericho Sims. They got a whole bunch of random players that I feel like they're more going to be a waste. All right. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks are even a first-round exit in the playoffs this year. So I don't think they're winners. I think the Sacramento Kings, I think they're solid. All right. This is a team that still didn't fold after losing De'Aaron Fox. They're still trying. They're they're trying to do things here and there. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are winners of the deadline as well. Obviously, they like what they have. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just kind of add something minimally there. Daniel Tice, just in case you get an injury of one of those bigs. You cannot have an injury for them. So you kind of get yourself some insurance. I love that. And I love the Cleveland Cavaliers as winners. First place in the Eastern Conference, getting richer by adding Daniel Hunter. And those are my reactions to this crazy trade deadline on Super Bowl week. Man, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about any of these trades, which one surprised you, and just overall thoughts, man. Chop it up, leave a comment, hit the like button as well, and subscribe to the